When people think of the Grateful Dead, a lot of them picture endless jams, psychedelia, and a massive community that follow them around the country. But if there's one album that shows just how deep their songwriting could go, one that distills their essence into something beautifully American, it's American Beauty, released in 1970. This album marks a turning point in the Dead's evolution. Coming off the heels of Working Man's Dead, they continue to dive into Americana, folk, and country and bluegrass influences, but refined it even more here. It's less about trippy improvisation and more about tight, heartfelt songwriting. Even though I'm more of a fan of their live stuff, it's still a great album to come back to. And it's also a moment when the Grateful Dead really embraced vocal harmony, something that would define this record in particular. From the very first track, Box of Rain, you're pulled into something personal and cosmic at the same time. Phil Lesh sings this one, a rarity, and he does it with emotion that hits hard. The song was written for his dying father, and you can feel the weight of mortality wrapped in this sort of poetic, almost mystic lyricism. It's a gentle but powerful way to open an album. And then you got Friend of the Devil, probably one of the most iconic songs they ever recorded. It sounds like a simple folk tune, and the story it tells, a fugitive on the run from both the law and personal responsibility, feels timeless. It's catchy, but if you listen closer, there's this sort of haunting loneliness under the surface. Another standout is Ripple, which might be the most spiritual moment on the record. Robert Hunter's lyrics here are pure poetry. Lines like, "In my words did glow with the golden of sunshine," and just, it's beautiful. It feels like a hymn, something sacred, not just tied to any one religion. Jerry Garcia sings it with such grace and vulnerability that it gives you goosebumps. And of course there's Sugar Magnolia, which balances things out with its joyful, rootsy vibe. It's playful, optimistic, a reminder that the Dead always had a way of mixing a light with the heavy. The contrast across the album is part of what makes this feel so human. What's also remarkable is how collaborative this album feels. Everyone in the band gets their moment. Garcia's guitar work is, restrained but expressive. Bob Weir steps forward with Sugar Magnolia, and Ron Pigpen brings a bluesy grit to, Operator. Even, David Grisman and other, outside members were brought in to enrich the textures with, a mandolin and a pedal steel. American Beauty is about as far from the sort of cliche of the acid-drenched jam bands as you can get. It's grounded, mature, and deeply American in the best sense, drawing from folk traditions and building something that feels endearing. And it has endured. You're feeling these songs at weddings, on road trips, and late at night when someone needs a little bit of comfort. The Grateful Dead may have had a reputation for, sprawling live sets and unpredictability, but American Beauty shows their heart and their soul in a very focused, accessible way. It's not just one of the Grateful Dead's best albums, it is one of the most meaningful records in American music history, and that's why I personally think Grateful Dead is probably one of the greatest American bands of all time. They have been going forever, even since Jerry passed away and Phil passed away with Dead and Company, which me and my wife saw them live. Incredible, amazing. I mean, they're still doing it. They're still packing the Sphere in Las Vegas. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you got to give them credit. Give credit where credit is due. The best American band ever. Hands down. And if you want to argue with this, I'll argue with you on the internet. If you want to comment on it, comment. We'll talk about it. Best band. If you haven't listened to this album, check it out. Let me know what you think.